Pleistocene Park or something. It's one of the eras of ancient creatures, right? And this area in Siberia is bringing them back.
Wait.
Okay, so here's what's happening. It's actually a good idea. I was against it at first too, right? Here's what they're doing. The world is getting too hot, so the permafrost in Siberia is melting.
Okay.
Under this permafrost, it would release... There's carbon trapped under the permafrost that can't get up because the permafrost melts. Millions of years of carbon comes up. The estimated is global warming would immediately kill everyone. There'd be enough carbon to basically kill everyone within a year or so under this permafrost. So they cannot let this permafrost melt. This is way deeper than the Arctic melting. If this permafrost melts, we're fucked, basically. So what they're doing is these Russians found this way to keep the permafrost from melting. How do you do that? All the animals that used to be native to this area got ran out by overhunting. A bunch of the animals are now extinct, that sort of thing. So what these Russians are doing is they boarded off this area. They're bringing in the closest living relative to the animals that used to live there and having them do things. Like they're having them live here, completely unhunted, all that sort of thing. Basically, what that's going to do is, from what I was reading on this, the permafrost during the winter, I should start with this. During the summer, the permafrost is melting. During the winter, because it's not getting cold enough anymore, the permafrost is freezing, but not enough to make up for the summer melting. Okay. So they're basically year to year, it's melting more and more, right? Okay, yeah. There's just not enough refreeze. That's because there's no animals living up here to kill the trees and trample the snow. What does killing the trees do? Naturally you think trees are good. Trees are not good because they kill everything else. Grasslands, trees kill the grasslands. Grasslands are better insulation than trees for like freezing, and the grass is a constant recycler of carbon. They make their own soil and stuff like that. So rather than the trees taking in carbon, but then when trees die, all the carbon goes back down and releases. So it's a constant cycle of carbon. You're not actually taking any carbon. Grass takes the carbon and then sinks it lower. It doesn't put it in the atmosphere. So grasslands are better than trees for reducing carbon in the air, right? So by not having animals up here, trees are able to grow, and trees don't allow the grasslands to grow. By reintroducing these animals, they're not only allowing the grasslands to grow back, which is allowing the freeze to happen, but also they're trampling the snow. Without a thick layer of snow, the ground is constantly freezing. If you have snow on top of the grass, the cold air, of course, has to go through the snow. So the snow actually is an insulator, and it stops the ground from freezing. You trample the snow, now the cold air has a direct contact with the ground. So the permafrost is coming back. So that's this park, right? But there's one part of this park that is now the new thing. Back when it was called the Mammoth Steppe. The Mammoth Steppe was the entire north part of Russia, went all the way Alaska, all the way down to the US. This was the Mammoth Steppe. It was all grasslands. How do you mimic mammoths in real life right now? Because what the mammoths do, what the scientists found out, was the mammoths were toppling trees. They were knocking over trees. Because these smaller animals, like different oxes and different horses and stuff that live up here, that are all they're all furry and stuff. So they live here in the snow. They're not big enough to topple trees. So when the permafrost was at its peak and we were the earth was in its best condition, was when mammoths were toppling over all the trees, because the mammoths are big enough to top it over. So how do you mimic mammoths? These scientists are bringing tractors over and knocking over all the trees, right? To mimic a mammoth. And now they're rebringing the mammoth back. It's a whole ethical thing. It's a whole ethical dilemma right now.
Yeah.
But they are bringing back the woolly mammoth.
Genetically, getting
They have DNA from a woolly mammoth, and like from the bones of woolly mammoths, and then they are combining it with the is it Indian elephant or Asian elephant? I don't know. One of the elephants up there that are the closest relative of the woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
I think it's the Asian. So basically what they're doing is they're piecing anything that they don't have woolly mammoth DNA, they're piecing together with the Asian, hoping eventually the woolly mammoth will become the full woolly mammoth that used to live, basically. It's a hybrid to start, but that brings up a whole ethical thing. But I wanted to get your opinions on it because I think it's dope.
I'm sorry. I'm in deep thought right now. Cause
keep in mind,
personally, screw it, do it. Because here's one thing. I'm just sitting there listening to you. I'm thinking, right? We really are. It all goes back to like the whole that scientist theory, right? Like men start fighting men and stuff. Decrease in war. We're playing God again.
Yep.
We're playing God, bringing back animals. But there's something I don't know why this reminded me, right? We're also starting to try to play God with ourselves though. Because I don't know if you guys know this. I think it's like the US is flying over to like Japan or somewhere over there, right? Them in Japan are going basically getting around this whole ethical like law against going against like mutating people and things like that, right? They took a monkey and implanted human DNA to it. And what actually started happening is that the human DNA started growing inside of it, right? I think the longest lasting one, like embryo or whatever of it, was like 3 months before they had to kill it for ethical reasons, because it's not gonna just grow to one organ, which is what they're trying to do. They're trying to preserve the life of a human, make it longer and stuff, by growing these organs in these monkeys that are transportable to the humans. So again, we're playing God.
Yep.
I'm personally, so I know I got a little away from your little topic there. I'm like, okay, we doing that to the monkeys. Screw it, bring back the mammoth. Come on. I like mammoths.
What stops
anyways.
them from bringing back like the dinosaurs?
Okay, so here's the thing with that, right? That's the whole ethical thing. They just want to bring back the mammoths because we cannot let the permafrost unfreeze.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. It's less about. That's why I don't think it's a big ethical issue with bringing back the mammoths, for example, because we need the mammoths, or else the entire Earth is going to die.
Yeah.
Because the amount of carbon underneath this permafrost is deadly. It will 100-fold what we've already done, like carbon emission wise.
Yeah.
The carbon that's under here is millions of years worth of carbon. So we cannot let that happen. So that's the whole ethical thing. It's not like these woolly mammoths are being brought back to be killed. Their thought right now is they're bringing back enough to sustain this little part of I say little part of Siberia. It's a massive part of Siberia, but sustain this area of Siberia so that humans don't die.
Well, that's the thing though. Okay, so let's start with this, but what stops you from doing anything else? Because circle of life, prey and predator. Eventually, what happens if eventually mammoths start too much of them? Yeah. You need to now introduce a predator for them.
Well, they already have the predators. They already have I didn't go into all the animals they have up there, but there's a bunch of animals. There's wolves. They have an entire ecosystem basically. Okay. There's like versions of horses, oxes, that sort of thing. Wolves, like bears, that sort of thing. Just to they all even each other out. Okay. So the mammoths are not going to ruin the ecosystem, and I'm sure they've already calculated that. Like, okay, how many mammoths can we have in here to make sure the ecosystem doesn't absolutely get overrun? But
then that brings us to another question. So how do you then stop the natural predators from killing the hybrids and stopping that project instantly?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole nother thing with that though. It's like they even each other out.
Well, yeah, but like I'm saying, it's gonna start with a small group. What is stopping the predators from killing this small group? And then we have to start again. You have to figure a way to take out the predator temporarily to allow room enough for them to grow and expand, and then introduce the predators again.
I'm assuming they have all that figured out. Like they're going to bring in the exact amount of mammoths that is there, because there's equations for all this, carrying capacity of ecosystems and stuff like that. Okay. You bring in the perfect amount of mammoths, because the predators aren't going to be killing the mammoths very much. Yeah. Groups of predators can kill mammoths, But that's the whole dichotomy
Pack
there.
of wolves.
A pack of wolves can kill a mammoth, but the wolves have to grow first with killing the horses and the deer and the stuff like that.
Yeah,
Then
they
the
have to work
wolves
their
are big
way
enough
up.
to start killing the mammoths. Now the mammoths start hanging out, kill all the wolves. It's like that's how the ecosystem works. There'll be influxes
Stamp
of
them out,
everything.
stomp them
Introduce
out.
the
Yeah.
Smilodon again. Bring back the Smilodon.
So that brings up a whole nother thing, though. This is my
Yeah.
problem.
Okay.
They're bringing all this back. Keep in mind, this park, it says park, but it's like it's no profit. It's literally just Siberia trying to make sure that human doesn't die.
Yeah.
Okay, but then what happens when capitalism gets a hold of it?
That's true.
The U.S. goes, there's mammoths up there? Huh. I
think
wonder
I
if
wanna
I
see
can
it."
bring back the pterodactyl. Okay, now we turn,
Jurassic
I don't know,
World.
fucking
Oh.
Hawaii into Jurassic World. Okay, now we're reliving a movie. You know what I mean? Art, life imitates art. Okay, that's my whole issue. It's not, my issue actually isn't with this park. I think it's actually kind of necessary. What's my issue is, okay, what happens when the U.S. gets a hold of it? Because we will ruin it. There will be a T-Rex that learns how to swim and swims all the way across and wreaks havoc.
I'm sorry, Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, that's why I say, bring back the Smilodon. The Smilodon is dope. By the way, Smilodon is the saber-tooth. Saber-tooth.
see, that's the whole other thing. People are like, just
Maybe
bring,
two tigers,
if we're
cool.
bringing back, the mammoths up there, let's just bring back the saber-tooths
Yep.
and the sloths so we can have Ice Age up there. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, at
Dude,
least.
do you
Yeah.
imagine those kinds of sloths?
Well, that's the
How
thing.
big
Yeah.
they
They were freaking massive.
Yeah, the Mesopithecus.
Yeah.
Imagine if they were fast.
Well,
How
actually,
scared they'd be.
I'm gonna be honest. The whole reason I got on this whole dinosaur like deep dive I did this week was I've been playing a lot of Ark.
Makes sense.
A lot of Ark. I'm
Getting
like,
chased by that
you know what?
dinosaur.
Dinosaurs are kind of sick.
Shit.
They've always been sick, bro.
Oh yeah, no, I
Like,
get.
I used to watch Dino Dan growing up. That song was heat, bro.
Yeah, no. So I was like, this is kind of cool. So then I go on YouTube, and of course they're listening, and they know
Yeah.
what you're doing at all times. So now I have a bunch of dinosaur freaking suggestion. I'm like, fine, I'll watch dinosaur videos. And now I'm in this. My entire YouTube suggested is all dinosaurs because like back then everything was bigger. But so if you're mixing the woolly mammoth, depends on what DNA they have from the woolly mammoth. If they have the DNA saying size and fur, then yeah, they'll be big. But if they have like certain features of the woolly mammoth, but they have to take the size from the Asian elephant. Asian elephants are much smaller than woolly mammoths were.
Oh yeah. But see, then that's the question to me would now be like, would that? I mean, again, you probably like you said, they probably already calculated. But like, would they be big enough? I guess to do it because, like you said, they're smaller.
Yeah.
But
The thing is, everything else that's there as well, like all the closely related horses, wolves,
Yeah.
they are all smaller too. These aren't the same size they used to be
Yeah.
either. So it's a even battle, I guess.
but the thing is, it's gonna take generations upon generations. It's going to take a few decades for them to be big enough like they used to be. We might even be gone by that time.
Yeah,
but like,
elephants live a very long time.
yeah. So like naturally, if you put an elephant in that environment, naturally they're gonna probably start to grow like the woolly mammoth. But that's gonna take way too long, which is
Yeah.
probably why they're doing that.
That's all they need to do, right? They don't need the mammoths to be massive.
Yeah.
They just need them to be big enough to topple trees.
yeah.
That's all they're looking. That's why they need the mammoths there. Because right now they're just running tractors and tanks. These Russian scientists have decommissioned tanks from the military, and they remade them to work. And they're toppling trees with these tanks. Like, it's crazy to see.
Hold on. Give me an axe. Let me go up there, bro. I need to
crazy
get
to see.
strong, bro.
It is crazy to see.
But see, then that's gonna change every even wolves and stuff like that is gonna eventually evolve to become strong enough. Because I don't even think their teeth will be strong enough or claws enough will be strong enough or like sharp enough to cut through properly on a woolly mammoth. So they're gonna start evolving too, which is gonna then cause another effect for more animal evolving, which is kind of
I mean, I don't know how long this is supposed to.
Oh, you know.
Because like they might only need this for say 30 years.
Yeah.
And then we have a way to stop that permafrost from melting, that sort of thing.
Bye-bye, mammoth.
You know what I mean? Because then you don't need them anymore. I don't know how long they plan for this to stay.
Yeah.
It sucks because in my research of all this, maybe this is another episode, but the reason that none of these things exist anymore isn't because they just died off. They were overhunted by humans. Like there would be a bunch of animals like this still living in Siberia, and these like upper Canada, that sort of thing, if they weren't overhunted by humans.
Yeah.
Like, there's this island right off Siberia. It was the longest a mammoth. The mammoth was there until like 1600 when the last one got killed. Like the year 1600, these mammoths like found a way to get on this remote island that no one was there until the hunters went over there and found, holy shit, there's mammoths or something, and then they killed them all. But it's like these mammoths and stuff would still be living if they weren't overhunted. Like, granted, because like nothing. That's the whole argument with all this. Nature does not change in the grand scheme of things. Nothing changed since the dinosaurs died. Nothing has really changed nature-wise. Like, the level of oxygen has been the same in the earth. Like, the reason there was big bugs and big dinosaurs was because there's more oxygen in the air.
Yeah.
But now, since the asteroid or whatever that killed the dinosaurs, oxygen levels on Earth have been the same. So all these animals could still be living, but we made them go extinct. Humans are the only thing that made them go extinct. So that's the theory with this park. If we can get this segmented area where humans are not involved at all, will it go back to what it was? I would say 100%, because I think humans are the only reason anything even changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we are the worst.
I'm sorry, but real quick though, imagine how much of a top G you gotta be to become a mammoth. That's like imagine how hardcore though.
Well, I mean, they had entire tribes have to do it.
Yeah, but like,
because all they had was spears.
Well, yeah, like still, you mean to tell me as a rite of passage, us as a tribe, we gotta go kill that thing?
Yeah, they would kill
That
it.
thing?
They would kill it just to sell the tusks. They wouldn't even use
that's
the food.
that's the messed up part. Like, come on now.
That's the whole thing. Is like, how do you enforce nobody going over there and just killing everything just to get the I have a woolly mammoth tusk.
Yeah.
I'll put it in your house for $50 million.
Yeah. Which there's gonna be people like that, and it's gonna be a lot easier because we got more of the spears now.
Yeah.
You feel me? But like,
I don't know. It's just like, yeah, this sounds good on paper. I think it's necessary, but it's like, it's just, you know how this goes.
Yeah.
It's going to end up, we're going to start mass producing woolly mammoths so that everyone can have a woolly mammoth tusk piece on their chain. Like, that's what, Christ almighty, help us. Man. Fuck this, like, fuck us, bro. Fuck humans.
Humans are disgusting.
We're
bro.
awful.
I hate humans, but hey.